Greg, of course, frustrating evening all round, I suppose, on Tuesday against Altrincham here. I suppose now you and the rest of the boys have had a little bit of time to reflect on it and digest it. How are you kind of feeling towards it at the minute?
Yeah, obviously we're just as disappointed as anyone. Obviously we started the game very well, go 1-0 up. And we just kind of came away from what was working. Obviously they scored 2 pretty quick goals. Whether it was dubious or not, it probably distracted us when it really shouldn't. And then we couldn't really get a foothold in the game after that for whatever reason. But it's gone now. We need to just regroup and refocus, get everyone back together. We're all fighting in the same direction, and Bromley's going to be just as tough a test.
Is it a bit more difficult at the minute trying to keep yourselves on a bit of a neutral playing field? Obviously, it's something Mike's talked about before, never getting too high and too low. Is it a bit more difficult at the minute keeping yourself in that middle ground when things sort of aren't going against you and it's maybe a little easier for frustration to creep in at all?
Yeah, I mean, it is harder. But the last 3 games, we were unbeaten in the last 3 against some good teams. So the confidence was there going into the game, and I think you could tell from when we started. The way that we approached the game was good. But then again, you're just trying to find that neutral ground and stay in that same moment that you were before, and try and find that same consistency going into games, which is difficult coming off a very disappointing result. But we have to try and do that, and that's something that we're working towards. And we know that we're just going to have to work twice as hard.
Yeah, and you've mentioned before on social media about sticking together as a club, as a fan base, sort of everyone around the place in order to help things kind of push forward. I mean, how important is that? Obviously, after a rough result on Tuesday, but I suppose just in general all the time, really, as well.
Yeah, I think we all knew going into the season. That was what I tweeted out. We all knew coming into this league it was a highly competitive league, in which we'll take Olley. They got promoted a couple of seasons before us. They've not set the league on a light for the last 2 seasons, but they've managed to find a way to stay in this league. So they're building something. Obviously, we weren't, after winning the league last year and stuff, we're all on this high, and we expect ourselves to now, as a club, to win every game. And I think it is a good thing, but we need to focus on just a game at a time, and we need to prepare for every game, because every game, these clubs, with no disrespect to the National League North, these teams are very good teams who are pushing to break into League 2, the majority of them. So the players are better, the teams are better, and we need to be ready for that. And I'm sure as time goes by, I think hopefully we can put some good results together.
Yeah, and obviously as captain at the minute, obviously it was a young squad last season, still pretty much the same case this season. Obviously a few newer lads coming on loan recently as well, in which it's their sort of first taste of senior football. But do you still feel that kind of responsibility in terms of the same as last year, as being someone to try and sort of turn the mentality around before Saturday and not let anything kind of carry over from Tuesday into Saturday?
Yeah, it's one of them things. You just got to keep everyone fighting in the same direction, and I think we are. This group's just as good as it was last year. We've kept the majority, so we know how to handle these things. And obviously the new lads coming in, they'll have their first taste of results not going their way when they're fighting for 3 points. So I mean, as captain, it is that responsibility. So I suppose I've got to pull the boys round, and we'll just obviously go again on Saturday, and we'll train this week, and we'll get ready for it.
And in terms of Bromley on Saturday specifically, obviously one of the teams that are flying high in the league at the minute, had a good result on Tuesday at Boreham Wood. But how are you feeling ahead of that? Obviously, I suppose not a huge amount of tougher games you could have at the minute in terms of the form, I suppose.
Yeah, obviously we know what Bromley are about. From when we were the last in the league, we went down there, and it was a tough game down there. So we know what we're expecting. But I generally feel like this year there's something in this league where anyone can beat anyone. Obviously the results, you can see that from different weeks. Teams are beating teams that probably necessarily shouldn't. So we know if we just prepare right, we've got every chance of going down there and getting 3 points.
And in terms of the ground and the pitch itself, I think another sort of artificial pitch, obviously you've played on one at Dorking a little bit earlier in the season, but for you as players, do you like factor that into your thinking before a game? If you know we're playing on grass this week or playing on an artificial pitch, does it really change like an awful lot for you?
No, not really, not for me. You just wear different boots, I suppose, that's it. But no, we prepare for every game the same, whether it's artificial or on grass, and if anything, I probably prefer playing on the 4G sometimes. But no, yeah, everything stays the same.